Obviously it was a tough season. I guess we'd kind of expected it to be tougher than the previous three, but looking back from a director's perspective, what were your thoughts?
Well, it was a really tough season. I think it took us all a bit by surprise. I mean, from the board's point of view, as the season developed, we've learned a lot throughout the season. We've learned a lot about resilience. We've learned a lot about the kind of teams that we're facing next season. Most of them are going to be the same kind of season. We've learned a lot about our players and how we're going to work with the management to make sure that we can just, put that one behind us and get on with the future.
Do you understand why supporters were frustrated at some of the performances and results?
Yeah, well, I think, we're supporters too, and that can sometimes be kind of forgotten in all of this. And for me, actually, it was a lot peaceful sitting up by the clock, kind of watching all of this going on than being in the director's box. But we're frustrated. We, like everybody else, enjoyed some of the highs last season. There were some really good performances, some good resilience coming back from being goals down. But by and large, I think people felt that at home we weren't really kind of performing well enough or playing up to the fact that we've got 2,300 people sitting here wanting us to win. Some players in the past here have been unable to play in front of such big crowds. That's nothing to do with the crowd, it's to do with the kind of mentality of the players coming in. So, we've got some players contracted already for next season, and I guess it's up to the management team and the board to make sure we find players who are excited by playing in such a big crowds, not intimidated by them, and are going to play the kind of football that's going to win us some games.
Do you think the season we've just had will make us stronger going forward for next season?
Well, I think it will, because we know a lot more about the opposition. I mean, in the past, people have said, well, the North is tougher and all the rest of it. And it's true that if you look where Slough finished up last season, which is the only measurement we've kind of got, they kind of comfortably mid-table. But I guess the other thing is everyone here would rather get promoted from the North into the conference than the South, because we will be better prepared. And as I said, we know an awful lot more about some of the teams we'll be playing against, some of the grounds we've been playing against, which have got bigger slopes than here.
So after those first 12 months in the National League North, what are the goals now moving forward into next season?
We've had extensive discussions in the board. We are in no doubts as to how the fans felt about last season's performances. We've conveyed them to the management team. They're working really hard. Everyone works really hard around this club, but they're working particularly hard to make sure that they put in place the kind of plan and bring in the kind of players that are going to get people excited next year. We want to be in the playoffs, basically, challenging for promotion. To be honest, this will be the first season. It will be their players, their team, our team collectively, hopefully challenging. We've had detailed discussions with Tim. There's quite a lot of activity going on, as you would guess, about trying to attract and recruit the right kind of players. Everybody wants to get back into, the Football League. There's no doubt that that's what everybody here wants to do, and we're no different. We're really ambitious, but we're not going to let the club go bust in an effort to try and do it. So we're not going to bet the farm on kind of blowing our reserves and our budget on kind of bringing in big ticket managers and big ticket players and big ticket everybody, because we've seen that doesn't really work. So we have to grow into the Football League, and we have to grow sustainably, and that means living within our means, and frankly we're well off because we've got such a fantastic bunch of supporters who come and see us through thick and thin. That provides the funding for us to go and attract players and hopefully make our way up to the Football League in the not too distant future. I wouldn't put a time on it, but we need to be playing challenging football. We need to be in the playoffs.
Budget wise, I think I'm right in saying there's been a year-on-year increase.
Yeah.
Is that the case from going into next season?
Yes, it is. 50% was the increase in budget from going into last season. And this year we're looking at 40% increase in the football budget, and that is significant. Now, we never discuss figures because that's kind of giving competitive advantage to other teams in the league. Look at the relationship between the gates we get and the kind of funding that we can produce, and that ought to make us competitive kind of right up at the top of the league. We rely on gates. I mean, average gates, I think we were probably 9th overall average gate in non-league football last season. I think we were 3rd in National North. But we do need to keep that up. And if there was a message I had, it's please come and watch us, because actually it's counterintuitive. People don't come and watch us. We kind of got less money. and that means that our ability to sustain budgets going forward, is diminished. Now, I know it's all very well for me to say, yeah, come and watch us, but I also understand we need to deliver something that people want to come and see.